Welcome to yet another fabulous episode of the V Single Podcast with your hosts, Allison Stevenson and
Alexander Tweeten.
Here we are. Good? Hey, how's it going? What's up?
It's been a week of just a lot of stress, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely not a great week for dating, for living, for being a person.
Just not really a good time generally.
Yeah, shit's rough out there.
It's pretty chaotic, and I don't know. I've just been trying to do some self-care and at least get some exercise every day and
That's good. That's good. I've been watching a lot of bad movies and TV and trying to work. I had a weekend where this is not interesting. I watched a bunch of movies. So on Friday, I watched two movies with you.
Yeah.
On Saturday. But the night before that, I watched two movies with my family.
Oh.
Both of them Nicolas Cage movies.
Hell yeah.
And then the night after that, oh yeah, I mean the movies were very bad, but still fun, I guess. We watched it's on Hulu. We watched Primal.
Oh,
which is a Nicolas Cage movie. It's also got the guy from Sopranos, Michael Imperioli.
Oh,
it's the premise is that they're Nicolas Cage is a wild animal hunter. Not hunter, he traps them to sell to zoos.
Oh.
And he traps this very rare white jaguar.
Oh.
And he is on a boat shipping these exotic animals back to the States. But on this same boat is a assassin, sociopath, crazy guy that the government has captured. And he's being shipped back to America with the jaguar. And basically, crazy things ensue when this killer is let loose on the ship. And Nicolas Cage is the only man who can save everybody.
Hell yeah. That sounds great.
So yeah. Yeah, so just shit like that where I've just been escaping, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
then
self-care.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's getting to a point where it's okay, maybe this is just me avoiding real life where I'm just constantly trying to watch things and be distracted and not think about the state of the world.
When real life is a nightmare, what else can you do?
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched that crazy crocodile show, Crawl.
Movie, yeah.
Yep. And
The Invitation.
I've been watching The Vow.
Which I actually like that one.
Yeah, it was good. I've been watching The Vow.
I want to see The Vow.
It's about that crazy sex cult, Nexium. I
feel like that would be good to watch just as an educational tool.
Yeah.
Just to know the signs of if you're interacting with someone who is a fucking narcissistic sociopath.
Yeah, it's really crazy because the leader of that cult, he's just so gross and just I don't know, weird, nerdy looking.
And just I think what we kind of were talking about this, but the fact that there's just nothing he says makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen The Vow, but I've seen other things about the cult. Yeah. And just listening to one of his lectures or whatever, it's just not what did you just say? I know those were words, but they didn't mean anything strung together.
Yeah. Keith Raniere. I don't think I've ever said his name out loud, but I've heard it a bunch of times.
I always say like Renair in my head. That's probably wrong. I have no idea. Yeah.
But yeah, he's just like, it's just like, why? But well, I finally watched like the last episode, and one of the women was like, I didn't find him like physically attractive, but like after listening to him for a while, like she's like, I thought he was like, you know, his mind made him more attractive, basically, because he apparently.
But like, what was his mind saying?
Yeah, I don't know. And then I listened to this other thing that was like, oh well, he. Instead of like complimenting women's looks, he talked to them about ideas and stuff. And so I think it was more of like a psychological like attraction. And then I was like, okay, I guess that makes more sense. But like everything that I've seen him say is like, I'm just like, I don't even understand. But maybe he had to be there. I don't know. Or I'm just like, what? How are these people so stupid?
I mean, it
just proves like how fragile the human psyche is, and how like you can manipulate people.
Yeah,
basically what I'm getting out of it, and it's like, yeah, it's very eye opening.
It is. Yeah, it always makes me, when I watch stuff like that, it always makes me wonder, like, could I?
Yeah.
Could I fall for something like that? If somebody was that, I guess, playing to the things that to me would be like what I would want from a cult leader. Like,
I know.
All of these cult leaders, they tend to be more in the like religious or spiritual realm. You know, it's very like enlightenment, which is like not my bag. So like, I don't think a traditional cult leader would get me.
Yeah.
But if it was like a cult leader who was like, I don't know, like kind of satanic and punk and like really hot, but like just like talking about movies.
Yeah, totally.
And was like, want to join my cult where we like listen to metal and fuck and I get to own you or whatever. Like,
yeah, I'd be like, sign me up.
I'm like, damn, maybe I would fall for that.
I know. I mean, I guess if it was, but it's like, it's not a cult unless they do like really fucked up shit to control you. So
like Manson-esque, like I think I could, if it was not Manson, but like someone who like had that same kind of vibe of like, we're all gonna live together on this ranch and just fucking fuck and then try to kill people.
Well, yeah, I'm like, I've always said like half as a joke, but kind of half serious. I want to start my own sex cult and have like a bunch of husbands or whatever that I control and who I tell what to do all the time.
Oh, that's the dream. That's like not even a cult. That's just like, you know, I mean, I think it's only a cult if there is like some sort of brainwashing going on and like some hidden agenda and abuse of power. But like if it's just like a nice little happy community where people, where you're living together peacefully, everybody has their own agency.
But how do you have that many husbands unless you psychologically force them?
It's called subs. You just get a bunch of subs. They love that shit.
All right.
That's heaven. Okay, look, for my days of having sex slaves every now and then, like what I did love about it was that it was like the dudes would just be super down to just like do shit for you and clean and like do your chores and stuff.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to like,
but
be like, oh, I owe you one or whatever. But like that was what they wanted to do.
But did they do it badly, the chores? Just to like get in trouble on purpose?
Okay, my experience is very limited.
Oh, okay.
But I think it was like 3 guys that I mostly had that kind of thing going on with, but at different times. Yeah. The first guy was dope. He like was very neat and clean and like he knew what he was doing and he cooked and he made like really fancy salads and stuff with like, you know, cranberries and arugula and shit. Like he wasn't like a dude where it was like, oh, you want me to order pizza or whatever.
Yeah. That's
so
good.
that one was great.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I was down for, like, extended, like, okay, you can
This works. Yeah.
you can do all of these things. That's chill. I just didn't like, it was almost the perfect situation. I just didn't like having to be a bitch and like having to insult and like can't you just
All
do
the
this because you
time.
want to do it? Like, why do I
Yeah.
gotta be a bitch to you on top of it?
Yeah. Like all
was
the
just
time.
too-
Like
Yeah.
like it's fun if you could do it sometimes, but like not all the time.
Yeah, and I didn't like the physical, like, you know, because he wanted to be like spanked and stuff, and I just don't like that. And like, I don't like. I just want it to be like you're just gonna do everything for me, and we don't even have to talk. Like that's the ideal relationship. It's like, okay, we don't even have to talk. You're just gonna do these things. I'm gonna just chill, watch TV.
Yeah,
and
because
this is just gonna give you a boner because it's what you like to do, and you know you're happy this way too.
But like the bossing people around part is also work. Like it's that part of like that also takes up mental energy. Like
the language has to be very specific, and it has to be like very like you dumb little filth pig piece of shit. Like, you know, like it has to be very mean.
Yeah.
And it's like I just don't want to do that.
You have to put effort in.
Yeah, like I've done some penis humiliation, and like you'd be surprised how many takes I've had to do of like a guy being like, can you ridicule my penis for like 30 seconds or something? And I've had to do like 10 takes because I'm like, I'm not being mean enough, or no, I shouldn't have said, I gotta say this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, this thing that I thought was gonna be super easy has become like a job to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you should get paid for it. Like,
yeah, totally. 100%. I will only do that shit if I'm getting paid.
Yeah, this is our precious time that they have to compensate for.
And, you know, people really like, not to make it a bigger thing, but like people talk so negatively about sex work.
Yeah.
And especially I'll see so many comments from men who are like making fun of OnlyFans and like being like, oh, all you got to do is show your tits and you make money. Like you have it so easy. And it's like, if you actually knew how much work these people have to put into doing what it might look easy, but it's actually very difficult, and it's exhausting, and it is a long ass day of working like 9 to 5 traditional hours.
It is a real job. Yeah.
It's work. It is fucking work.
I know. I've seen like jokes online like, ooh, people say that like female privilege doesn't exist, but like you can make your rent just like showing your butthole or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's actually work.
Yeah, there's so much more to it than just snapping a picture and instantly money's in your account. It's like, you got to build your brand, you got to build your fan base, you've got to promote yourself. You
also have to put up with fucking assholes in your DMs, like, like,
and a lot of guys will, and a lot of guys will say they're going to pay for stuff and they end up not paying.
Yeah.
And it's just like a whole shit show.
Oh yeah. You have to like it. You have to want to do it because it is work.
Yeah, or at least you have to be committed to putting the hours in. And that's why like so many people are like telling me like, oh, like you should get an OnlyFans or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm not going to, because I know how much work that's going to be. Like, it's not going to be easy. It's not just like, oh, here's my OnlyFans. And it's like, no, I know that there's a lot of hours I'm going to have to put into this, and it's going to be like a real job. And I just don't have the time for that, for like this to be like my second job.
Totally. Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah. But anywho, now that we've took a few turns there.
I guess we should bring on our guest.
And we're back. This week, we are joined by a comedian who just released an album. The pursuit of comedy has ruined my life. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
You gave me the thumbs up, everyone. Everybody, please welcome Nick Nemeroff.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
How are you guys?
I'm doing
Great.
pretty well. It's supposed
Totally
to be
fine.
99 degrees or something.
Yeah, it's hot
this
as fuck.
week or today. Ugh.
You guys have AC?
Sort
I
of.
do.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one in my room, and it's really great. It's amazing. It's a lifesaver. But I think it's letting bugs in, so I'm like very...
Oh, no.
It's just like a never-end... Life is just a never-ending struggle, right?
That is
So I'm
brutal.
just like... I'm watching TV, and I just see, like, bugs on my screen, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a moth. I don't know if it's a mosquito, because I don't know shit about bugs.
All you
and
know
then I
is that
thought
the
it was a
bugs are
moth.
cold. Right.
The bugs are cold?
Mm-hmm. They're getting
Yeah.
AC as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just am giving them a great life. It's too hot
Sure.
outside.
Mhm.
But you're
Very
not in
nurturing.
LA, right?
I'm in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It is
Damn.
not 99 degrees here. It's a little bit fall weather, sweater weather, people call it.
Aw, gorgeous.
It's very nice.
Look, here's the thing. I feel like my brain is operating at like 10%, and like it's just bad right now. Like I don't know what it is.
Got some brain
yesterday-
fog going on, Allison?
Well, I think I don't know if you're experiencing it too, but not to keep talking about like the weather,
I know.
but everyone's telling me that it's like all the smoke from all these fucking fires surrounding us.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
The
literally
air
like
quality.
messing.
Fog.
The air quality is horrible. And also I just watched the debates last night and I definitely feel dumber.
You feel dumber.
Yeah, just from watching it.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't watch it fully.
It was
I
excruciating.
did not watch because I did see a bunch of shit on Twitter, obviously, and it sounded truly like maybe the most nightmarish possible scenario, from what I understand.
It was 100%. That's what it was. Just so like, it reminded me of the kind of arguments I would get like when I was 22 and had like a shitty boyfriend for 2 months. Like it was one of those stupid, like, wow. Like, first of all, they're saying the stupidest, dumbest shit. Well, mostly Trump.
Right.
But
You can't,
it's just
they
like,
just talking over each other. You can't tell what's going on. He just keeps on. He's like a steamroller, just rolling right through everyone, even the moderator. No one could control it.
it's very, very fuckboy-esque. It's like trying to
Oh my
change the
God.
conversation and being like, but wait, you're ugly or whatever. It's just like
It
oh my
never
God.
answering the question that you asked. Like you ask
yeah.
a question and they just completely
I'm
go
jealous
off.
of people who are able to do that because I'm like,
Right?
I feel such an obligation to answer any question that's asked of me, even if it's like a horribly embarrassing answer. So I
Yeah.
can never understand how you're able to deflect and just not answer a direct question.
Yeah.
It really is a skill. Like, I don't want to say it's impressive, but it's like very, because it's not like you go to school for it. It's just like this intuitive. It's like something you're born with, like a gift, but bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's usually only used for very bad purposes.
Exactly. But you were living in LA, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there for just about a full year, March till March. And when the pandemic happened, I came back to Canada because I was scared and I didn't have health insurance and I was on an artist visa. So it was all made almost no sense to stay there.
Yeah. That's
And there was
probably,
obviously no comedy or anything anymore.
Yeah. Probably a good
Right.
idea.
Yeah. Everyone's trying to go to Canada now, so you have an
It's kind of the hot
advantage.
spot to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so let's focus. Let's move toward what we really. Let's shut the fuck up about politics.
Cut the bullshit.
Yeah, let's stop talking about that crap that no one cares about. And let's talk about your dating situation, love life, yada, yada. What's going on? What's the status?
I am a single man and have been a single man since moving to LA. Broke up a 2.5-year relationship on the day that I moved to LA, which was like the plan.
Damn.
That was like the plan we had made.
Wait. Was it like a surprise, or was it like?
No, it was a weird, like, looming thing of always, like, I was trying to move to the States, like, just for, career and comedy stuff. And then finally got, like, a visa approved and, like, had a date set to move down. And it was very fucked up. But we're like, okay, I guess we'll stay together until this date, because I don't think either of us wanted to break up, obviously. And I think what I've learned now through going to therapy and stuff was that was a horrible decision to stay together until the very end. And there were so many unresolved things.
Oh my gosh!
That just it kind of exploded afterwards.
It was just like a relationship with an expiration date.
Yeah, I thought somehow that would make it easier to.
Yeah.
I guess end that kind of thing, but it turns out it's very hard when you both, feel very strongly for each other.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're only just getting closer and more attached.
Yeah. And then you both, like, especially in the last, like, month or whatever, when the date is, like, just getting closer and closer, you're like, oh, this is going to be weird. This is, like, our last week together, our last few days together, last time at, like, this bar together, all that kind of shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So
I would not recommend it to any listener right now.
So do you think it would have been
right there?
Would it have been better if you just like broke up when you found out that you were leaving, or like stay together like long distance, or like what's the solution?
I think the solution is the harder thing to do, which I think is to break up when it became pretty clear that we weren't going to live in the same city. I mean, I think it's different for everybody's, personal thing. If you could make it work long distance, then maybe try that too. But I think if we had tried long distance, it would have broken up and just been possibly worse. So we just kind of wanted to choose a middle kind of solution. And then maybe just break up suck in general. So I think that was part of it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting because when I do see long distance things work out, it just feels like that's so rare. Like, for the most part, doing long distance is just delaying the inevitable, or you're both miserable, pretending you're not.
Yeah.
So you moved to LA and then you were single. And then Allison said that you post like funny Hinge profiles on Twitter. Is that?
I've seen a few of those.
It's true. I post because a lot of people are insane and will
stupid.
Really reveal themselves.
Can you give us some examples of like ones that?
Yeah.
I appreciate it because, like, I only see men be fucking dumbasses, and I assume that every woman's profile is amazing, and I'm like, damn, no, my competition's so much fucking worse because there's all these like amazing women.
But you forget that women can also be idiots.
Yeah, I forget that.
I do.
That's kind of the message I want to get out today, is that Nick Nemeroff says, but here's one that I saw. Here's one that I saw today that I don't know if maybe I am stupid and I don't get it. I don't know if I show it on the screen, if you can even.
I see.
Okay.
Well, you see it? Or is it?
Yeah, leave it up there.
A shower thought I recently had. Oh, I work in digital marketing. Does that also make me an FBI agent?
I don't understand.
What does digital marketing have to do with FBI?
Like,
I don't know if I'm stupid. It could be.
Oh, is it because like those jokes of like when you're going online and you're like, oh, I hope my FBI agent doesn't like
I
Stalk
guess
me
that's
or
so-
whatever.
What does that have to do with a
Is that-
career as a digital marketer?
I don't know.
Like, what does that have to do with writing copy for like Netflix's Cuties
Yeah.
or whatever?
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it might make sense if her job is to like stalk people online or something, but that's not clear from the
So why don't you
Here's
message
the
her?
title.
You should message her and be
I
like,
think-
what does this mean?
I've thought about that, but then on Hinge, you only get a certain amount of likes per day unless you have like Hinge Premium. And I was like, I don't want to
Oh, true.
waste this on somebody I'm sure I'm not going to get along with.
Yeah, it sucks that Hinge
Um,
won't let you like just ask someone a question without having to like them.
Right. That would be better. I'm just going through many screenshots now, but once I find another one, it's going to be amazing.
Maybe an FBI agent.
I mean, I'm only assuming that's what she maybe meant. I could be wrong.
I think that's the best guess, or else it's 1,000 times more confusing, I would say.
Yeah.
Or she's trying to imply like that's not a real job. It's like the kind of job somebody who's actually an FBI agent would say when they're like trying to like when they're undercover.
Oh, maybe.
Like, yeah, I work in
also like,
digital marketing, wink.
That's like the new construction worker when they work in the mob kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's more the caption that you put on this photo.
He needs no pickup line. Hashtag heartbreaker. Hashtag heartbreaker. Hashtag little cousin. Hashtag
So
hero?
like she wants to fuck her child cousin.
And it's a picture
He
of
literally
her.
is a child. Here's the.
It's a picture of her and a little
captioned photo.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a
okay.
little like 10-year-old boy.
I mean, when you only get like 5 pictures to choose to, display yourself, and you put a caption like that of you with your little cousin, you're just asking for a comedian to screenshot that shit and share it on a podcast.
Are you only on Hinge? Oh, right, okay.
I'm on Tinder as well, but Hinge, I would say, is my number one favorite app. This will be the last one I'll show because this is a crazy segment.
It says 2 truths and a lie. I love traveling. I love eat beans. I hate when people play games.
Wait, can I see what she looks like? I just want to see the face of someone who writes that.
People
she's
eat
kinda cute.
beans.
Yeah. I definitely was tempted to match with her because I love eat beans is one of the funny phrase that you never had thought of before.
If it wasn't sincere and if you knew it was like making a joke kind of a thing, that actually would be really
Yeah.
Maybe I should
That
change
is
that on
where
my
I'm
profile.
like I feel like so few people are A, like actually funny, and B, like actually able to make that translate in online or whatever. So I just see so much really intense sincerity, and sometimes you can tell that somebody, I feel bad, but you can see that somebody's been like really hurt in the past from like a relationship, and it's like what I'm looking for, and it's like somebody who will never disrespect me like my last partner or whatever. And it's like, it's just so crazy again to bring that to the table right up front.
Yeah.
It really, there really is a fine line, and that's why it's like, I don't know. It's just it's so much more bleak. Like I was looking at my like Tinder, and I do have a gold membership. I tried it for a month.
Oh yeah.
Just because I'm like, I'm so sick of swiping. Like, I just want to like see who likes me and then like go from there.
How's it
going?
going?
I was looking.
Do you recommend?
Oh, it's awful. No, I mean, no, because like, and this is what's bleak about it. It's like, I have like over in that little section, it's like thousands of dudes there. And I look at just like from looking at the little preview of them, I'm like, I already know, like, I don't want any of these people. And it's just so sad because you like see a number and it's like 8,000 or something. And it's like, cause it like goes back from all the way when I started Tinder. And it's just like, insane. It's like, this is a real number matching how many people I know that I don't want to like date or like I know I won't be with. It just it makes it so much more bleak. And I thought it was going to be like so much easier and better. And I'm like, oh, this is just depressing me now.
It's like a good way to really categorize everybody you would never want to meet at like a bar or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 8,000 people who you would be annoyed to talk to.
Yeah, it just makes me wish sometimes I was like super basic and just chose that life of being like a real estate agent in West Hollywood or whatever, you know, just like how much easier life would be. Like almost every guy I met would like be compatible because he'd be basic too. And like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like we'd all have like, life would just be easier.
I know.
I wish I didn't have so many interests that were like, I don't know. I
do think, life would be much more simple. We would be talking about the debate and being like, what a great form of debate that was. Two arguments being made. I have seen a lot of guy profiles now over the past like few years, just from friends showing me and stuff. And I am blown away by how bad they are. It's just, I think the percentage of like suitable like male profiles is seems very low.
Yeah. And then some guys I do give the benefit of the doubt because it's like, okay, I can tell there's something there, and you just maybe like, because a lot of guys
at conveying it.
Yeah, like they don't know how to take a good picture of themselves. Like, you know, they don't know how to write a bio. Like,
what is yours? What does your profile look like? Do you try to be funny or is it just very? What's your strategy?
I'm happy to share because, well, here's also why I like Hinge, because I like that you have to put your height on it, and I would feel too uncomfortable with doing that on Tinder. So I feel like my height gives me a big advantage, but
you don't want to be that guy.
Feel like I'm bragging. Yeah, exactly.
Are you like really tall?
I mean, let's just say my Hinge profile says 6'3". So I'm going for, here's my Hinge profile where I'm going for like a deadpan kind of vibe.
Okay.
This is the first prompt.
Okay, 2 truths and a lie is a common icebreaker game.
Okay.
Yep, okay. That's true.
It's a bit like, okay, this guy, he's not like the other guys, kind of.
Which of these 2 date ideas sound better? A nice romantic evening or a bad night where bad stuff happens and it's not fun?
Okay. A little simple, and then here's the kicker that everybody.
Okay, here we go.
The grand finale.
All right. The dorkiest thing about me is every day a group of high school students beat the shit out of me. Oh, high school. Sorry. Every day a group of high school teens beat the shit out of me and give me a wedgie in front of my crush. That's the dorkiest thing.
Pretty dorky.
Yeah.
And and then you put 6'3" with that, and you get some matches.
Okay, actually, I have a question for you because I never know if I should put that I'm a comedian in my stuff. Do you put that you're a comedian?
No, but I do have it like linked to my Instagram on both Tinder and Hinge, and in one of my pictures, I'm like holding I'm holding a microphone, and there's like a caption from that set.
There you go. Yeah, so subtle. It's like you're letting it be known, but not making it overt.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Again, trying to stand out a bit from those other profiles.
I think did your air conditioner turn on or something?
It did.
Oh, you know what it is? Okay. Oh. Also, it is raining so hard here, and I'm going to just close the window very quick. Are you on dating apps, Alex?
I am not currently on any dating apps. I've just been taking the pandemic and being like, maybe I should just not date anyone right now.
It does feel super pointless right now. Like there's no.
Yeah, and I'm kind of at a place where I'm just like, I realized that I always had someone texting me or calling me, and it was never anyone that I was really interested in. And I was like, I just kind of want to be not dating anyone right now. But I recently, so this guy that I used to, booty call person, who I haven't really heard from in a while. He just like out of the blue, like, hey, I miss you.
Wow.
Because
wait, when was this?
A few days ago.
What?
Yeah.
Do I know who this is?
Yeah. He's in a band. He's a singer.
Do you want to reveal his name on the pod, or no?
I think I know. Is it like his name is like a letter of the alphabet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn. Narrows it down to 26. But,
so
26 possible names.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. So anyway, the last time I heard from him was like the day before my birthday, and he was like sexting me and being like, whatever, I don't know, trying to just, make me talk him off, basically.
Right.
And then the next day, the next day or 2 days later, he posts on Instagram a picture of him like making out with this girl, and he is like, we're in love.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, cool. So you're just like,
interesting.
Obviously had been dating this person for a while, and then they just made it official. But meanwhile, he's like texting me.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wait, he said, I miss you?
Yeah, like I can't even remember what he said, but he was, trying to like probably like send pictures or whatever. Anyway, which
it's so shitty because that's like, you can't really do anything about that. Like, he's basically cheating on someone that he's dating.
He was. And then, it stopped abruptly when he like announced like, oh, I'm dating someone. So that was, but I was just concerned.
He's like, I got a limited window. Like this is about to be official any day now.
I haven't posted this pic yet. So
but I was
get
like,
one more in there.
Yeah. But I was like a little bit like annoyed that he was like sexting me like the day before this or like 2 days before. Yeah. And I was like, wow,
understandable.
So you're just like sexting everyone until literally the day that you announce this like relationship. And so then
did you text him about it?
No, I was just like, yeah, whatever, who cares? Oh. And I was like, I was like, you know what? Good for him. I don't really care that much.
Best case scenario for him.
Yeah, because
I don't have to deal with any of these consequences.
Well, I mean, we've been like booty calls for like 4 years, so we have a very like, I don't expect anything of him that he's like, and I wouldn't want to date him. Like, I know that it would not be a good thing. So it's like we have boundaries, sort of. But
the principle, just
but I was just annoyed. I was just like, why would you be texting me this when you're obviously like becoming serious with this person? And then I was just like, wow, do guys just do that? Like they just text everyone until the day that they're like
confirmation.
We're in a relationship. And I was like, wow, it's kind of sad. But anyway, now, I guess it's like 2 months later, he texts me and he's like, I miss you. And I was like, what do you mean? What?
Oh, wait, I'm confused. So I thought this was just a few.
No. So this scenario happened in August.
Oh,
like right before my birthday. I remember because I was like my birthday, and then I open Instagram and I see him like making out with someone, like with their tongues out.
Wow.
And I was
Just
like,
a really insane
cool.
picture to post anyways. Yeah.
yeah. And I was like,
right?
oh, cool. Okay. All right. Awesome. So then didn't hear from him now. Like since then, have not heard one word from him.
No happy birthday text.
No happy birthday text.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Just like, let me see your tits.
Yeah, basically. And then, so yeah, then 2 days ago, he texted me. He's like, "Oh, so I miss you," and I was like, "Hey, don't you have a girlfriend?"
Did you write that back?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
And he was like, "No, it didn't work out."
Oh, what a shocker.
Yeah.
Probably very unrelated to him texting you.
Yeah.
You know.
And then he
Right.
he said something like, he was like, "No, it was a toxic relationship." And
sounds like we learned what that word just meant.
Yeah. Let me.
Toxic is such a buzzword, isn't it? Everybody says toxic, and like, I don't think anybody really knows what that means or like what they're saying when they say that.
Okay,
so I cheated on my girlfriend. It's toxic. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so I just brought it up. Okay, so he goes, he goes, "I miss touching you," and I go, "Hey, don't you have a girlfriend now?" And he goes, "Not anymore." "Do you have a boyfriend?" And I said, "Oh, it didn't work out. No, I don't have a boyfriend." And he goes, "It worked for 6 months. It happens." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he was like, "I was kind of in a little bit of a toxic relationship, but it was my fault."
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh no." And then he was like, "I mean, she's awesome, but we didn't have boundaries anymore. I couldn't even talk with you anymore. I mean, as a friend."
I couldn't even sext you anymore.
But it was my fault.
As a friend.
But it was my fault because I let it go that deep. I was like, okay. And then I was like, I'm not really dating anyone. So like, if you want to be friends, that's cool, but I'm not gonna hook up with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where I am. And I'm actively turning down people because I'm just annoyed.
Damn.
Yeah.
Empowering
it's just frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, how are you like, what's your during the pandemic type of dating situation? Like, are you trying to go on dates, or are you kind of just like trying to talk and that's it?
I would say I was definitely trying to go on dates. I also when I was in Montreal during the summer, there's like huge parks and stuff kind of everywhere in Montreal. So there would be a lot of like have drinks in the park kind of thing. And then if it went well, eventually.
Oh, so you did do that?
Yeah. I started dating somebody in the most like serious way since I broke up with my ex when I moved to LA. And then that eventually ended when it became clear that it was going to be long distance again. Mm-hmm. Like I was going to come back to Toronto and then hopefully eventually come back to LA if it exists. And
good luck.
Yeah. And so we kind of ended it after like 3-4 months. This was like kind of early on in the pandemic. And then a few weeks later, I matched with somebody on Tinder and noticed that like they started following me on Instagram. And the one person we had in common was this girl that I had like quote unquote dated for these past few months. And I was like, "Oh, are you friends with," her name was Joe. I was like, "Are you friends with Joe? Because that would be weird to go out on a date because I just like ended the thing with her." She's like, "No, I actually know Joe because she's my best friend's ex-girlfriend." So it was like a weird connection, but didn't feel like it was overstepping any boundaries or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we went out. I swear to God, there's like some sort of payoff to this, but we went out on a date and she's like, "Yeah, the pandemic's been so crazy. Like I was with my boyfriend for 6 years and we broke up. And then like I know like a week later, like Joe and her boyfriend broke up. And I was like, oh, when did Joe and her boyfriend break up? And she's like, or I was like, when did you and your boyfriend break up? She's like, May 7th. And I was like, oh, so I had been seeing this person for like since beginning of April, basically. And so for the first 6 weeks that we were seeing each other, she had a boyfriend, which I did not know about.
Oh,
wow.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then the next morning, I get a DM on Instagram from this ex-boyfriend. And he's like, yeah, he's like, hey, it's, I forget his name. He's like, it's blah, blah, blah. I'm Joe's ex. I come in peace, LOL. And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
This is going to be so fucking bad.
Wow.
Here we go.
Yeah. And then he starts like, he's like, what's the last, he's like, I'm just wondering if you can give me details for like the first time you saw Joe and the last time you saw Joe. And I was like, I don't want to answer. Like, I don't know you at all. And like me and Joe are over and clearly you guys had issues. And I think that's like, you know, you guys have to deal with that. I am not getting involved kind of.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't he became very like aggro. He was definitely just like going through a lot of emotional shit, obviously. But he's like, he's like, I can just picture you shaking your head, asking yourself, why did Joe do this to me? I was like, oh my God. And he's like, you gotta, yes. I was like, that really is, I like, imagine projecting a lot.
You are projecting.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be freaky though? That's exactly what you were doing.
I was like, are you fucking looking at me right now?
Are you an FBI agent?
Yeah.
Because you told me you were a digital marketer.
Yeah. But he's like, you got to understand, you might, by not answering these questions, you might be coming off a bit prickish. And then he wrote in brackets, maybe not to me, but to, and then he like mentioned his friend, who's the girl that I went on the date with.
What?
And I was like, you are and then I just stopped answering his DMs because I was like, this is insane. And then the next morning, to his credit, he kept going all night with like more aggro shit. And then the next morning, he's like, hey man, I want to apologize for spiraling yesterday. I don't know why I needed to know the details. I know the gist of the story. And that kind of was like, wow, I was impressed with his turnaround.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, he acknowledged.
That is impressive.
You know, I feel for him a bit. I know it's like, obviously he's not over it.
And it became clear that she is definitely like a manipulator person. Cause like we had so many, like we would, again, in the beginning of the pandemic, we would like FaceTime, I would say 5 nights a week from like 9 p.m. to like 2 or 3 a.m.
Whoa.
Like,
oh, wow.
Pretty consistently.
That's a lot.
And yeah, so much. And we would talk a lot about past relationships and exes and whatever, that kind of stuff. And literally never once, she like mentioned an ex-boyfriend that I have pieced together that is this guy, but like was just full on not telling me the truth about it. And then she was like, oh, I really like you. And like, you know, I'm scared of how much, it's like starts to be very, manipulative. And like, it was impressive because I was like, damn, I fucking fell for it.
Wow. That sucks.
It was a scenario I never thought I would be in. When I was like, I'll probably go through my whole life without like inadvertently being in a relationship with somebody who's in an undisclosed relationship otherwise.
Yeah.
Is it like in hindsight now you can see all the ways that she was probably like still dating someone, or is it still like you have no idea how that happened?
Like, that's so crazy.
Well, like I went to her apartment a few times and like they weren't living together, obviously. I think that would have been fucking crazy ballsy, but I can see now maybe when if she's like, you know, I couldn't, she's like, well, I don't want to talk tonight or I'm meeting up with friends or whatever. Now I'm like, I bet most of that was probably this
your
actual boyfriend. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
But yeah, you spent so much time talking with her. It's like when does she, you think to yourself, like, when does she have time to like even hang out with anyone else?
That's
Right.
100%. That's why I was like, well,
yeah.
it was so like, sort of distorted my reality. And when I found that out, I was just like when she told me the date that this guy and Joe broke up, I was just like, I just like remember like my mouth was just like open and I just kept saying, holy shit. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Just doesn't register because I just like, I know I would feel so guilty and I would just be so anxious all the time if that was like me doing that. I just don't know how people do it and have
I think it's the same in how we were saying at the beginning of like being able to like deflect questions or like not address. It's like, I think in the same part of the brain where it's like, sociopathic in a way.
Yeah. And that's why every time like someone doesn't answer the question, I'm always just like, what else? What are you lying about? Like, why?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah. It's a pretty good indicator of a terrible person.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But if you're really attractive and like charismatic, man, you really can get away with a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm sure she's gonna have a great life. I agree, but
that's like, if you're charming, that's like a red flag. It's like, that says a lot. It's like, you're really good. You've had practice. You know what to say to get people to be into you. Like, it's just a huge red flag.
You're a true psychopath if you are charming.
Yeah, exactly. Like 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, okay, if you're kind of boring on the first date, I'm more into it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you like 2 more dates or whatever. Let you open up a little.
Well, I do think a normal person would be boring or like a little, awkward or whatever on a first date, because it is a little bit weird, obviously, just 2 people meeting for the first time and like trying to find the connection or balance or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that's more possibly a thing in LA of like being really charming and like all that kind of shit is a major indicator that you are insane and probably just trying to get your own selfish shit done.
Yeah. Actually, that does make me wonder how is dating in Toronto now as opposed to how it was in LA? Like, is there a better or worse, or what are some differences? Because we talk shit about dating in LA so much. We're always curious to know what it's like in other cities.
Yeah. I think that my general experience is that I think people in LA are way more like basically, selfish, not even necessarily in a bad way, but they're just like really concerned with their own thing or their own, brand, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And then in like Toronto and Montreal and stuff, I think people are more down to earth. People are very like impressed if you've been to LA, kind of.
Yeah.
It's just like, so imagine how embarrassing that is. Like being impressed with somebody who's been to LA. But yeah, it's like there's like a huge fascination with like show business stuff and that area because it seems so far away, I guess, in Canada. But yeah, I think I feel more comfortable going on dates and stuff in Toronto and Montreal with people than in LA, where it like felt like maybe either one of us was like trying to impress the other, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Makes sense.
That's my answer.
So did you move from Toronto to LA? Was that?
Yeah.
Oh, so I just want to clarify, because did you think about getting back together with the girl that you broke up with?
Well, here's the other big part of my, I guess, past year was also, going to therapy and stuff. I basically, I was still very much in love with my ex-girlfriend and like wanted to get back together even when I was living in LA. And at the behest of my therapist, wrote her a letter asking her to get back together. And she had started dating somebody in like, I don't know, the summertime, I guess. So a few months after we had broken up. And that was maybe I think the thing that made me go to therapy, because that was like very
that's
challenging
tough.
to take.
That's tough to deal with.
And I just like, had to mute on all platforms and just be like, I can't talk to you and blah, blah, blah. And so I wrote her a letter in, I think it was January or February. And then a couple weeks into the pandemic, she's like, I got your letter. I can't talk about it right now, but I just wanted to let you know that I got it. And then a few weeks into the pandemic, we spoke, and, she's like, I can't even entertain the idea of getting back. I'm like committed to this person in a relationship. But there were other things I wrote in the letter that were like, I think tied up some loose ends, or like helped explain maybe more my decisions at the time and like where I was now and all that kind of stuff. So it was more just like having closure on it. But
that's good.
I would like to platonically see her, and I feel like I will at some point in Toronto. But I think I don't think I can think about getting back together after I shot that shot and it didn't work. But
yeah.
But,
I mean, I think that's kind of cool though, to like even do that. A lot of people would probably be too scared, or
I definitely was too scared, and I was like, I guess I could never do that. And then my therapist was like, well, why don't you just do it? And I was like, interesting.
There we go. Therapy.
I thought I never, Big shout out to Pear. That's nice.
Man, I feel like everyone talks so much about their therapist being like really cool and like nice and supportive. And I'm like, maybe I need a new therapist.
Does yours just yell at you?
He's just like he's just always mean to me.
Oh, damn it.
But I kind of like it in like a fucked up way, because like no one else is that like blunt with me.
Yeah.
Like he never like lets things slide. He's like, well, don't you think that maybe is your fault? I'm like, whoa, no. Damn it. Maybe?
I would actually like more of that from my therapist. I feel like I could tell my therapist, like, I drank, drove, and fucking killed the fucking orphan. And you're like, look, man, some people, you just needed to like escape, and you felt that the car was the best way to get home. This is actually helpful. But it is comforting for sure.
Yeah, like I had a situation like a month ago, 2 months ago? I don't know. I have no idea what's happening with time. But this guy that I was like, and I talked about on the podcast a lot, who I was like texting a lot with like every day. And it was like very like, felt very much like we were going in the direction of like dating, where, we're just talking all the time. And he was like, said he was pretty much broken up with his girlfriend. It was just like, we just haven't had that final talk. And I was like, and he was like, because of the pandemic, like we haven't really seen each other, but like we're broken up. And I was like an idiot. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, let's just keep talking. And you can look at my tits and shit like that. And it was just very like, I like just fell for it. And then I remember just breaking down to my therapist, because he like sent me this text like a few days before we were supposed to meet. And well, we hadn't made definite plans to meet, but like that was like the last conversation we had was like, okay, finally we're going to meet in person. And then a few days later, he gives me this text and he's like, oh, guess what? Like fucking, I'm back with my girlfriend. Like it was very like we're back together. Weird, right? It was just like, yeah, that's pretty weird.
That final talk, and I forgot that we're never going to break up. So
yeah, that final talk was about how we're going to be final together forever. We're married. No. And I told my therapist, and I was like, so expecting him to be like understanding and like, being like, oh man, I got really fucked you over. And he was just like, well, why did you keep talking to him after he told you that he was and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, like I see your point, but he just would not let me, not even for a minute, he wouldn't let me be in the wrong, like in the right. Like he was like, no, everything you did was wrong and you can't do that anymore. And I was like, shit, I guess you're right, but can you see how I thought maybe they were really broken up? And he's like, no, they weren't broken up. It's like, God damn it.
There's no way around
it. Like disciplinary therapist, or is this like just like, did you like seek out, is this like a specific kind of therapy?
No, literally I'm on Medi-Cal, and he was like, my friend who was also on Medi-Cal was seeing him, and she was like, he's probably your best bet. and and so I started, I mean, it's been like 2 years, maybe even more. And so at this point, I'm like, this is my therapy. Like, this is just how it is. And I think it's what I need, because I think
it's just such a very like he's clearly has like this technique, you know?
Yeah. And I think that is what I need. As much as I hate it, it's like, I kind of need someone to be like, hey, you're not always right, because I always think I'm fucking right. So
what now? Like, you're just texting people on matching with people on Hinge.
Still matching, trying to be more like just basically only really meet up if I'm like, oh, okay, more very interested in this person, because there were definitely points where I was just like, I'm almost positive we're not gonna necessarily meet up more than once or twice, because it doesn't seem like a great match, but I also have nothing else to do, and this person's kind of hot, so
yeah, that's enough sometimes.
I'll do that. Yeah. But I would like to curb that part of my lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess especially in a pandemic, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Like, you really do have to date more consciously and more
responsibly, or whatever.
Yeah, like, is this someone I actually want to put time and effort into getting to know, or do I just want to fuck them because they're hot?
Do you know what you're looking for? Do you have like a checklist or anything?
Yeah, we do have a lot of Canadian listeners, so if you want us to do a little call to
arms.
Yeah.
Come out.
If you want someone to shoot you, we can set that up.
Considering it. I don't think I have a checklist. I feel like, it's like the most lame answer, but of just like general vibe or whatever. When I feel like most of my relationships, I like have just gotten along with the person really well right away. And it'd be great if, it would be insane. I don't think I could date anybody who wasn't like also, funny and like had a good sense of humor and stuff. Obviously, I think that that's probably why I've gone on dates and been like, oh, no chance can I actually see myself with this person long term or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, just generally nice also. Don't want somebody who is very mean to me.
Oh, you don't want that?
No, I know. Some people, your therapist, he's great at it, but I don't think it's going to work out with me and him.
Yeah, okay. Well, do you think you're just going to be in Canada for a while, or are you trying to move back to LA, or?
I'm certainly going to be in Canada until there's like a vaccine. That's what I just feel like. I've never wanted to be in Canada more. Never wanted a career in Canadian like show business more than these past few months. So that's kind of the goal. And then, again, assuming things go a little bit back to normal, I would want to come back to the States, because there's just so much more shit there to do.
Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder, is that something that like you would tell some, like, does that hinder dating right now in any way? Or is it just like, who knows? Let's take it day by day sort of a thing?
I I think like people, will ask that, and I'll say that same answer kind of that I gave. But I think, I guess it did end that other relationship that I thought was a real relationship in terms of like, she's like, I don't want to do long distance.
Yeah.
And it is an unfortunate like reality of trying to be a fucking comedian, which is the most worst idea that you could have.
Well, if anything, like maybe if you meet someone in Toronto, hopefully they would maybe want to move to LA with you one day. Like that would be the ideal situation.
It's true. It just is so fucking annoyingly hard to move. Like from Canada to the US legally and all that.
True.
And like, or like if they like, get a visa of their own or whatever, it's just like, all these complications on what you would think would be more simple. But
How does that visa work? Are you just like, you can come back anytime?
No, now mine is actually already lapsed. So I need to get a new one, but I'm not in a rush at this point
Right.
Because it's like mine was like it's an artist visa for stand-up, so it's very like specific to your discipline is. So I could legally imagine this: you could legally only work in the States as a live stand-up comedian. That's the only thing you can get paid for. Yeah. You can imagine the amount of money I was making, and it was just like if I get another visa or something, I've learned to make it more broad than just stand-up comedy. So I think
that's so interesting. I never knew that.
It's kind of brutal. That's why a lot of people wait till they get their green card. But I learned that lesson the hard way. Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we can end this episode.
Yeah. Thanks for illustrating that women also are shitty.
Women suck too, yeah.
Again, I want that message to be attached to my name everywhere. I have a lot of followers who need to hear that.
I just think it's interesting for our podcast because we always have women on the podcast who just complain about dudes all the time. And I feel like we don't get a lot of horror stories about women, and I'm sure they're out there. We need to,
Yeah. I think maybe these are the only bad person, the only bad woman in the world is this one person who didn't tell me they had a boyfriend. That's my experience.
It's more like we take turns. Like there's a sign-up list, and like we'll each get it for like a year.
Weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, cool. Exactly. But yeah, where can we follow you? What are your ats?
You guys gotta follow me at Nick Nemeroff on Instagram, on Twitter, and if some YouTube URL that is not youtube.com/Nick Nemeroff, but it's a bunch of letters. But if you search Nick Nemeroff, I've got to imagine it'll come up somewhere.
Okay. Your vids will pop up for sure.
Yeah. We'll link to them in the notes.
Perfect.
All right. Well, that's our show. Thanks for listening, guys. See you next week.
See you. Thank you, guys.